Hey guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Hey, today we're going to be taking a look at this Nexgrill 3-burner griddle. Just picked this up. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to show you how to put it together, what all comes with it. You're going to actually see me, I'm going to actually break it out and test it today and actually cook some burgers on it so you can see how it is. This is griddle model 720-1057. So like I said, I'm going to unbox it, take it all apart, show you what comes with it and how to put it together, and then we're going to actually test it. Okay guys, so you can see that I've unboxed everything and got it all laid out here. There's quite a few parts and pieces to this. I tell you that this is packed very well, so what I did was I used my razor blade knife and I cut the 4 corners of the box and laid it out so that you have the cardboard to lay out and protect all the parts and pieces while you're putting it together. Now, one of the first things that it tells you to do is to take this piece with all the knobs and valves and stuff and turn it upside down, because this has the threaded holes here that are going to hold the legs that you attach to it. Now, the only tools you're going to need to put this together is a Phillips head screwdriver, 17mm open end wrench. If you don't have metric wrenches, you can always use an adjustable wrench. These work well too. The only thing that I can see so far that you're going to need these for are these casters. And this is just so you can tighten them up to the legs once you get them mounted onto the actual gas griddle. The other thing I wanted to show you is I got the legs laid out here. These legs are numbered. I wanted to show you, see how it's got the number stamped right there. And the reason that these are all stamped 1 through 4 is so you know where to place them on the actual griddle. So that's the first step we're going to do to put that together next. Okay, so you can see I've put some of the wheels on the legs. I'm going to show you this one thing that I figured out that might be an issue. The instructions say that you just need a screwdriver and an open end wrench, and it shows a photo of this, what you get with a lot of these things that you have to put together, furniture, different things, where it's just like a stamped out open end wrench. It's super thin. So what I recommended that you use and what fits is a 17mm open end wrench, or like I said, the adjustable. What I've determined is once you start the threads here, you can just use by hand. It's a lot faster. But what happens is when you get close to the end, there's not enough space for you to put an open end wrench. And I'm going to show you here just a second. And this is right when you get to the end of the threads. And I wanted to show you, you can see you don't have much space there, and that you can't get your open end wrench in. So what you can do, because it doesn't have to be super tight, but it does need to be snug. What I did was I just took a pair of my water pump pliers and just catch the edge of that and twist it till it's snug, and then there you go. Now, this didn't come with nuts to go on the back side, because these usually don't come loose, but if you wanted to, you could get you a nut, a locking nut, or a nut and a lock washer, and put it on the back side of this. That way these wouldn't unthread themselves over time. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to take the legs and attach them to the base of the griddle. What I've done is I've attached the legs. Remember I showed you there were inserts right here in the frame. There's 3 of these screws in each leg, and I wanted to show you, this is an A screw and this is the B screw. It's the thicker of the two, the fatter of the screws that attach to the legs. Now what you want to do is you can tighten down on these 2 legs, which is 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 is on that side. These legs, you don't want to tighten those. You can put the bolts in place to hold them, but don't tighten them, and here's why. I'm fixing to show you. This is the bottom shelf to the grill, and it lays in like this, because when you flip it over, then that's on top. So what we do is the side facing the front line it up to, and you don't want these legs tight, so that you see it allows you to get the shelf in place. There we go. And so once I tighten it down, that's going to hold that a second. And take some of these A screws, get the shelf started. And what we're going to do is I'm going to finish putting these screws in. See, here's the slots that I was talking about. So just line it up and start. You don't have to tighten them down all right away, but just get them started so it holds it in place, and then you can tighten the screws down. Just lift it up. Once we get all this, then I'm going to turn it over and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I have attached the bottom shelf, tightened up the screws to the legs here and here, the screws that go in each end that hold the shelf in place. And the last thing that you're going to put on, so before we actually turn the grill over and can stand up and, instead of being down on our knees, is this face plate here. You want to make sure the teeth on it are facing up, with this being upside down, so that when you flip it over, these are on the bottom. There's 4 screws. I use the little A screws, the fatter ones, and there's 2 holes on that end, 2 holes on this end. You just line them up and you're done. And then we're going to go to the next step after that, where we're actually going to turn it over and work standing up. Okay, so I did want to tell you this. The instructions actually show you attaching this faceplate before you put the bottom shelf on. However, I did it just backwards, and the reason is because you want to leave 3 and 4 legs loose so that they flex a little bit, so that you're able to slide this bottom shelf into place where it fits in the slots that'll hold the shelf while you install the screws. And this is much easier to install after that, so that's why I did it that way. The last thing we're going to do is, you've got one more piece of bar here that goes across here to kind of secure the legs, and you can see there's a slot, and this bar goes on leg 1 and 2. So you just slide them in place, and super easy. Use the A screw again, which is the fatter of the 2. Start that on each end, tighten it down, and then we're going to flip it over. Okay, so the last piece that goes on the frame here is this little bar here, and this is what's your tank's gonna sit on. Your propane tank's got 1 screw. It's the A screw. Just get it in place, tighten it down, and your tank sits right there, and you'll see that in a minute. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next step. Okay, so just show you, so when you pull out your propane hose here, there's a little bracket attached here. You use 2 of the small screws, and it just attaches to the leg. There's pre-hole drills there for it. This is your grease trap, just sits right here on top and is attached by these 2 screws. Simple. Underneath, you're going to see a wire rack, and it's hard to see from here, but there's a little wire rack. This is your drip pan. Just slides right into place there. And there's a couple of screws. It's a wire bracket that you just line it up, put these 2 screws in. That's what holds the wire, and then you slide your grease trap in there. Comes with a AAA battery. This is your igniter. You just unscrew this. It slides in like so, and screw it right back on. You know, just finger tight. And then when you hit that button, that's going to ignite the gas griddle for you. Let's move on to the next step and get the griddle on. Okay, so we're going to put the griddle on next. And I want to show you that you have 2 slots. So you have a slot here and you have a slot here. And this griddle has these little ends on them. And that's what fits in the front slot. Once you drop it in the front slot, you slide it to the back. And that's what holds the griddle in place. Now we're just going to go over here and line this up. One on one side, one on the other, and then slide it straight to the back. and you've attached the griddle to the top of the grill. Okay, so this is your end piece, a little shelf here. I'll show you how it slides on. You've got 4 screws right here, and you just need to loosen them up a little bit. And then you see how they have slots? So you're going to line up the slots, top and bottom, and then push down. Oh, make sure you get them lined up good. Take an A screw, it goes right in the dead center of it. Once you get it lined up, which I still don't have lined up on that end. Loosen this top one up a little bit. Now we go. So make sure you back those screws out enough that it's easy to slide that on. That's why I was having an issue there. Once you get that in place, there's one that goes dead center, and you can just tighten all of those down with your Phillips head, and then you've added this in. You're going to do the same thing on the other end. Okay, finally we've got both sides on. Showed you how to put that side on. This one slides on exactly the same way. These handles are self-explanatory. There's screws in each end. You just unscrew them, the holes here, you line them up, tighten them back down. Same thing on the handle for the lid. And all there is to attaching this lid, I tell you to put the handle on first and then attach the lid. There's 2 cotter pins. You just line it up here, put in the pin, and then slip the cotter key in, and that's all there is. The same thing on the other side. Everybody thinks this might be a handle and kind of a strange place for it to be, but what it's for is this little plastic bucket, which is to put your trash and stuff in. So don't hang up yet. I'm going to show you what it looks like cooking some hamburgers on it, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, remember I told you I was gonna show you the grill in use. I've got some burgers under here, just put them on, just started cooking them. I want to show you how much space you have and how many hamburgers you can cook all at one time. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me with YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And until next time, stay safe. Take a look at this. So there's 7 big hamburgers, and I could have probably squeezed on a couple of more.